In the second half of our interview with Nassau County Legislator John Giuffre, Mr. Giuffre comments on the governor's suggested housing rule changes and how it will affect Nassau County and West Hempstead specifically, talk a bit about police and crime, and a number of other subjects that will affect West Hempstead residents. Here's Norm Case with the second half of our interview.
I know that you oppose the governor's affordable housing zoning change plan. We understand there are many sides to this issue, but wouldn't our local businesses benefit to some degree from new influx of customers? And wouldn't the homeowners planning to sell benefit from renters coming into the area?
Okay, so let me address a couple of the things that you mentioned. It's always beneficial for businesses to have more customers.
Sure.
No doubt about it. This plan is ill-considered, very high-handed in the way that it's being handled. And, look, it's a budget. You got to deal with the numbers and the money. You really should not be putting policy issues, especially controversial policy issues, in the budget. Mm-hmm. If it's such a great idea, introduce it as a separate bill and let it stand or fall on its own merits, not to twist people's arms to vote for it, because to vote against it would mean voting down the budget.
That's a valid point.
That's not the right way to do it. That does not allow for free and open debate about an issue. The housing plan, the reason I'm against it, and I strongly oppose it, is because it's another mandate coming out of Albany. Very high-handed, overriding all of our local zoning laws, and going completely against the principle of home rule. Mm-hmm. There's no consideration being given for the fact that Nassau County is the most densely populated suburban county in America. We simply do not have the infrastructure to add another 1 million residential dwelling units to Nassau County. We don't have the water supply. The damage to the aquifer would be horrendous. We don't have the sewage treatment facilities. We need infrastructure upgrades, which is taking place. But to do this in this fashion is unacceptable, in my opinion.
I understand.
We're not Broome County. Mm-hmm. Now, my understanding is the rural counties are also opposed to it. They do not have the infrastructure either. What about the electric grid? We're reading about house fires. Everybody does this push for electric vehicles. All of that are putting a strain on the existing infrastructure. Do we want more on this? It's just the wrong way to do it.
So how will that end up?
Well, my understanding is that there's bipartisan opposition to this, and that I hope it will be pulled from the governor's budget proposal. Mm-hmm. But I don't know the details of the negotiations taking place as we speak in Albany.
About 10 years ago, the Nassau County Police Department consolidated many of their precincts, and then that was all reversed. At least most of it was. And how has crime in the area been affected in the years since? And are you confident we have enough cops?
I'm confident we have enough police. There are enough police officers. As I've said before, every legislator wants more police presence in their district.
Sure.
And so I do ask for that. I did it just recently to make sure that drivers using Woodfield Road would be driving more slowly, and to have the police presence increased.
Now, part of the reason I bring it up is because gun violence has recently touched our community. You remember at Stop and Shop 2 years ago?
I do.
That gentleman, the alleged violator, is now going up for trial. Gun violence is totally out of control. Any idea what we can do about making this neighborhood safer from gun violence?
I think the gun violence and mental health issues are connected. And I know that here in Nassau County, I believe the county executive has instituted a program concerning mental health requirements for the issuance of carry permits. which is a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
So,
where do you stand on increasing the budgets in school districts like ours, where we have fewer and fewer students, but don't seem to have more efficiency in the spending? I mean, I understand that a certain amount of it is fixed cost, and it's very difficult to get efficiency when you have a certain number of buildings you have to maintain. But you know, the school spending, everybody's yelling for more money, and yet in our neighborhood, in particular in the public schools, the enrollment seems to be going down.
From what I understand, what you're saying is true. The enrollment is going down. I don't pretend to be a school budget expert. I'm not. I can only hope that the elected representatives of the people who live in the district, that the school board members, make efficient use of the resources that are available to them. I have, as we sit here now, I have no reason to think that they're not making efficient use of it. I have seen just a lot of terrific success from students coming out of the West Hempstead School District. As you know, for Black History Month, I did nominate the Guerriere twins. They're lovely,
Unbelievable
lovely
women.
girls. And I met them quite by accident.
Yeah.
I went to a West Hempstead
Chamber of Commerce. I saw you there, yes.
Exactly. And I was there, and
They're lovely.
they're really nice, but I had no idea. I had read about them in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And so when I saw them there, I just introduced myself to say hello.
Yeah.
And then the request came through it was more than a week later. Does anybody have any legislators would like to nominate somebody for Black History Month? And I was like, wait a minute. This is perfect.
Ding.
Can I nominate two? And so they were lovely.
Yeah, their mom's lovely also.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Great family.
It was a great family. So when you see people like that, I can say, and students like that, I say, well, you know, somebody must be doing something right.
No doubt they are. But yeah, they're all struggling with budgets.
Yes.
You know, busing has gone through the roof. We don't have enough busing in our neighborhood. And I think the budgets, which I haven't seen yet for school, have you seen the school budget yet? I haven't either. We've been looking for it. I assume they're going to be looking for more money as well. So I don't know if the legislature has anything to do with providing more money for education.
Generally, the county legislature doesn't have a lot to do with the school budgets. The best thing that we can do is be aware of it, work with our state elected officials to help in that regard, and then respond to specific needs from the school districts.
Mm-hmm. I know that you serve on a number of committees on the legislature. Anti-Semitism is an important issue in our neighborhood,
Correct.
as it is across the country.
Right.
It's out of control, completely out of control. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So just in terms of terminology, the Special Legislative Task Force on Anti-Semitism is what I think you're referring to.
Yes.
And so yes, I'm on that. I actually asked to be on it. I think the rise in anti-Semitism is something that we want to speak about to make people aware of it. We need to remember those who say it can never happen here or it can never happen again. If we forget, it can happen again. If we remember, we decrease the likelihood of that happening again.